Hey everyone, welcome back. On this video, we have a very special guest with us, Shruti Agarwal. Now, Shruti is someone who has cracked 5 different off-campus software engineering offers, 2 of which are international offers from Bloomberg in London and from ByteDance in Singapore. So a lot of you had been asking me questions regarding how can you get international offers from India, or for any Indian student who wants to have a job offer abroad outside of India, how do you approach the company? What is the entire procedure? You were asking me to make a video on this, and I think this conversation is going to be very, very helpful for you. So in this video, we discuss how do you apply to any of these positions, then how can you be aware of any such opportunities that come for remote hiring or for hiring outside of India, and then what is the process like, what are the different stages, rounds, how she prepared for her interview rounds, her coding journey, as well as what are the differences between any domestic offer and an international offer specific to software engineering or technical domain. And we also discuss tips on how to make an ideal resume for any international position, what all achievements she had in her resume, and she also has a lot of advices and suggestions to give all the juniors or people who are aspiring for any international offer. So do check the entire conversation out. This is going to be very, very helpful for you. And do keep in mind all the points that she mentions. If you like the video, you can go ahead, hit a like button, subscribe to the channel for any such informative content, and I'll attach her LinkedIn profile as well in the description. If you want, you can connect with Shruti as well. And once you're done watching the conversation, if you have any more doubts, any suggestions, you can either put them down on the comment box or personally reach out, and I'll be happy to answer all your questions. And that's pretty much it. Let's directly move on to the conversation now. Okay, so hello everyone. Welcome back to another video. And today we have Shruti with us. And Shruti has already cracked 5 different off-campus opportunities, 2 of which are international offers as well. And she has a lot of other achievements up her sleeve as well. So in this video, we are going to talk specifically about the international offers. How can someone from India reach out to a position which is abroad? And then what is your application process like? How do you have to prepare for it? And what are the different stages of interview rounds? So before we move on to the further questions, I would like Shruti to just introduce herself, a basic formal introduction so that the viewers know.
So, a brief introduction about me is I'm Shruti Agarwal. I'm a final year undergrad student from DTU, like kind of graduate only now. And at the end of my third year, I have interned with Uber. Currently, I'm interning with Intute. And yeah, I have pretty much applied to a lot of companies for full time roles. And that is, I think, what we'll be talking about today.
Okay, so the first thing that we are going to ask about is so you have 2 international offers, right, from Bloomberg and from ByteDance Singapore as well. So let's start with your basic interview experience for both of these opportunities. What were the different processes, stages like, and how many rounds were there, and the difficulty level, all of that process for these 2 opportunities that you cracked.
Okay, so let's start with ByteDance. So I applied to ByteDance Singapore in I think November last year, November 2020. I gave interviews for ByteDance and it had total 3 interviews. It first had an online coding round. So as many of the other companies, there was an online coding challenge, and after that there were 3 interviews. All 3 of them were technical, each taken by one engineer from ByteDance Singapore. And every interview kind of had very similar pattern. It started with obviously introduction, and then followed it was followed by a question related to DSA, like a data structure and algorithms problem. And then we this part was a little bit different. Like in some interviews I was asked about networks, in some I was asked more about OS. So basically towards the later part of each interview we were talking about some core CS fundamentals. And in the third interview, we also touched a little bit upon system design. It was very much basic about system design, like high level system design on the very surface. But yeah, that was needed for that round, which I didn't knew earlier. But because I was preparing for Bloomberg and I knew Bloomberg had a specific round for system design, so I was kind of preparing for it. And that actually helped me with ByteDance as well. And yeah, so this was a process of ByteDance. And for Bloomberg, it started with a phone screening round. So there was no online coding round. It has a phone screening first. So the phone screening was with an engineer who called me, and we had a basic, DSA based interview itself. And after post that, they were on sites. So usually Bloomberg has in-person on-sites, but this time obviously everything was virtual. And total the on-site had 3 rounds. So first round was a coding round. and the next was a system design round, and the last one was an HR round. All of these were spanned over several days. Like once I had the coding round, and like these were kind of elimination rounds. So only if you pass the coding round, then you'll go to the system design round. So there was obviously few days gaps also, since we were scheduling, according to my and the interviewers availability. So yeah, in the coding round, I had two engineers who were asking questions, and it was kind of medium hard level, like a medium question and a little bit harder follow up on it. And then the system design round was with a manager, and he proposed me to a problem that was a system basically that was already existing in Bloomberg, and how would I? So the question was, how would I design such a system? So it required me to understand the requirements of the system, and then obviously talk about my thought process for it. It didn't really require any coding. Like system design rounds are usually, discussion and some diagrams and some little bit things about data, APIs, and all. That was how it was as well. And the last one was an HR round. It was with the manager and HR, and it was a completely non-technical round. So we had discussions about my resume, but nothing technical. Like it was, how was my internship experience with Uber? What were the learnings, challenges, and what are my personal projects, and which one was my favorite one, and those kind of things. Very behavioral kind of.
That's great. Thanks for the knowledge about the various processes for these two positions. And the next thing that I would want to ask you is coding is definitely a very integral part of any software engineering process or interview rounds. So, for you specifically, in your journey, when did you first start coding, and how long did it take for you to reach to this level where you can crack multiple offers to be at this preparation level?
So I don't have a coding background from school and all. It started from college only. And first year it was kind of casual only. Like I was learning on my own. So it is obviously slower when you are completely new and learning on your own. At the end of my first year, I did one course. So I'm from Delhi. Like my college is Delhi Technological University. So there are few offline institutes there. So I took one of the coding courses from there to basically get started with problem solving using data structures and algorithms. That was pretty helpful for me, and it really was a good kickstart for me. Like, and I also enjoyed it. Like, I was doing it for the first time, and it was like I enjoyed the process of solving problems and all. And after that, so that was the end of my first year. In the second year, so this was a very actually in the summers I was completely doing coding and coding, but this course was during summer vacations, and then I got a little bit tired from it as well. Like it happens, I guess. So in the first semester of my second year, I wasn't doing as much coding, and from the second semester of the second year, which is basically fourth semester, I began it again properly. Like I used to practice on platforms like LeetCode and InterviewBit. And since it was obviously known to us that we'll be sitting for internships at the end of our second years, so I was then like the vacation that followed the second year, I was very much dedicatedly preparing for it. Like it is a continuous process, I'll say. It's like you have to keep at it. Sometimes you can take breaks, of course, you should take. But yeah, and so basically I was preparing. So it's all about practice, I'll say. It's also not like we don't, nor do I have any special talent, or nor do others have. So it's like you have to practice. And if you're, even if I'm not in touch with data structure and algorithms, I'll also not be able to solve questions. So it is about practice only. So once I got an internship, then I wasn't doing it regularly, obviously, because we are not really using DSA in our daily life and all in college. But yeah, here and there I was doing. Then in my even semester of third year, I was again preparing, studying. Yeah, it is little on and off, but not really, completely leaving it aside. Just keep at it, keep doing it. And you can use like obviously multiple platforms. I majorly use LeetCode, and here and there initially I use interview, but also then I kind of left it. I stick to LeetCode, and sometimes I went to code forces also for some contest and some ladders and well, yeah. And obviously, in my fourth year, I was continuously preparing. So once I got free from my internship, summer internship, like throughout the fourth year, my fourth year from August itself, I was continuously preparing because I knew I'm sitting for interviews and I should be practicing regularly. Yeah.
Yeah, so as we already know, LeetCode, Geeks for Geeks, InterviewBit, these are the usual suspects in terms of resources that we can use for preparation. And still, people are generally asking this repeatedly about the resources, but I think LeetCode enough should be more than enough for all interviews. And competitive programming, if you want to go there, then Codeforces, CodeChef you can use. But with respect to, since you've bagged 2 international offers, so can we discuss something about the basic differences in terms of any domestic offer that you get hired for, or any international offer? So starting from like the process of applying for that, then different rounds, then your onboarding. So a lot of these processes, people are generally aware about all the domestic positions, but when you apply internationally somewhere outside India, so what is that like? What are the major differences in terms of what we do here in India?
I didn't really see much difference. So once you are in the process, giving the online coding rounds and interviews, I don't see any difference. Some companies can just have some system design round as well. That is only difference, which some Indian companies also have. So I'll say the process, like the interview process itself, is not really different. Therefore, your preparation also doesn't need to be different for them at all. Just regarding applying, I'll say in India for domestic offers, basically a lot of companies. So there is something called on-campus placements. So for international offers, it usually doesn't happen that way. Like you will be applying off-campus only in most cases, and the best way for that is basically applying to their career page. So keep an eye over the openings. Like it's good to have an idea when do they start the openings. A particular company has usually some timeline, like maybe August, September, October, when they'll start the openings for new grad roles. So have an idea about that. Have a list of companies that you want to target initially, at least, and yeah, just apply to their career page as soon as openings come up, and try to apply with a referral. That would really help in getting the recruiter's eye on your application. That is all I used. For referral, you can also cold approach anyone on LinkedIn or some seniors and like that. I think sometimes cold emailing also works. I haven't personally tried. I just read about it, but maybe someone can try that as well. Cold emailing to recruiters. So how do you get to know about it is, so these days there's so much social media and all, you get to know about a lot of people that that person got selected there and so on. So you have an idea, you already have an initial idea that which companies you can apply to. Other than that, it's good to have it's good to know about seniors from your college or maybe even different colleges who got selected somewhere. So that gives you a basic idea of what companies are really hiring from India. So like personally, I knew that Amazon does hire because one of my senior got hired there. Now Bloomberg, I came to know from another senior because a lot of his friends had applied last year. So that is a kind of by talking to a lot of people, you do get to know about it. So you have to do the research part there.
All right. So next is for with respect to international offers, what are the various nuances that you need to take care of in terms of like your passport verification, your visa, your onboarding process, the virtual transitioning and transfers, all of that, because there are some positions which allow you to work remotely from, let's say, India, but those are pretty rare ones. But if you have to completely relocate, so what are the different specifics or nuances that you need to know of for international relocations or onboardings?
So actually, a lot of companies handle the visa process for you. So if you, I think they'll mostly hire only when they have such processes set up, where they will outsource the process of getting visa for you. So like for Bloomberg or even ByteDance, I think you don't have to, do this part for yourself. You will just be required to share your documents and all that is required for the process, and that is all on your part. Regarding onboarding and all, now that is something I also have to see and all, so I can't say how that really happens, but it's you can talk to other employees of the companies and all to know more about work culture, onboarding and all, but it's usually smooth, I feel. Also, you asked about remote work. So I think if it is a remote opportunity, it will be mostly listed out in the opening itself. And in other cases, you will have to obviously relocate. So maybe apply only when you want to go out of India. Or like in my case, I didn't really have a plan to go out, but I still applied. Like there's no loss. So yeah, just try out and then maybe you can decide if you want to go or not.
Okay, so next I wanted to ask about your college academics, your grades, CGPA. How much do they matter for such positions? Like not specifically international positions, but what do the recruiters generally look for in your profile when you're applying? So there are like competitive programming competitions, hackathons, internships. So do they matter a lot, or is your CGPA or academics in your college undergrad matter a lot when you're applying internationally? How much importance do they bring in?
It's actually difficult to talk about a recruiter's perspective. Like I can talk about what I think, like whatever idea I have. I think off-campus CGPA doesn't really matter a lot. Mm, if you pass certain cutoff, I think. Internally, maybe if they have a lot of candidates to decide upon and they are pretty similar, then obviously your CGPA can be a tiebreaker. But I don't think that's really a major thing there. Off campus, it mostly matters your resume, whatever you have put in there, like your internship, as you mentioned, internships, hackathons, CP, and open source, all these things. Yeah.
Okay, so next I wanted to discuss about for a fresher who's trying to apply internationally to an offer, what should an ideal resume for him be like? Uh, what different points should he list out on his resume, and what weightage does specifics include? For example, should he have a lot of internships, or should there be a lot of online competitions or online profiles, or something like that, some open source contributions? Or is it a mix of all, or should he focus specifically on some areas? Because most interviews involve data structures, algorithms, problem solving. That's pretty much it for almost all opportunities. So what should a fresher look for in his resume?
So there are many options, as you said. There are internships, open source, hackathons, CP, like all the online coding profiles. You cannot do all for sure. You have to streamline your process. If you have certain company in your mind, you might try to, like, you can contact someone who had been through the process and ask what worked for them. Otherwise, I think just a single thing, I think a combination of two things should also be good enough, like some good internships and some hackathon and maybe a lot of CP. Like, I know people, a lot of people who have, I think, heard from FB London. Like last year, I was seeing some people who got internship calls from there. Some of them had really good CP profiles. Some were good in development probably. So it doesn't have to be one thing. There's no one way. I think whatever interests you, try to be good at that. Like if internships, you're focusing on internship, have a lot of them, like as many as possible. If you are more towards open source, do good on that side. If CP, then do great there. I think that's the thing, like just standing out in that domain, whatever you are trying to highlight yourself in, that should be good. If I talk about Bloomberg, I personally had an internship and some project and a hackathon that I mentioned. These are some key things I'm saying. There were some other things, but I think these might have helped me. And there are also people who got selected who have a lot of open source contributions. They probably didn't do as many internship. So like a lot of different things work out. There's really no one thing for this.
Okay, so just a follow up to this. So there are a lot of different domains. For example, as you mentioned, open source, hackathons, internships, but there is always this confusion or competition between interview specific preparation or competitive programming, which freshers are generally very confused about. A lot of people just jump into competitive programming because everyone's doing it, and then they start disliking it after some time. So according to you, how essential is competitive programming in terms of just clearing an interview round for these companies, or like lead code interview preparation? Is that enough? Or should you actually have to focus on competitive programming? Like, as you mentioned, Facebook London hired a lot last year. So some of my friends who got offers had never done competitive programming at all. And they practice a lot of problems on lead code and Geeks for Geeks. So there is this difference and confusion. So according to you, is it mandatory or is it required for freshers to go there?
It's not mandatory at all. I haven't done a lot of CP. I've hardly done any CP. So I mostly prepared for interviews only. My major focus was, am I able to, solve a new problem put at me, like put across. So just build upon your problem solving skills. CP really helps there, but it's not really mandatory. Just do a lead code, be good at all the topics. Like everyone knows the general topics, the basic topics of DSA. So be good at all of them, cover your weak parts and all. Like don't one thing is, like, do not just focus on one topic and be very good at it but leave another topic. Like don't have don't leave your weak parts. Okay, work on them, but otherwise I don't think you really need CP to get interview, like to clear interviews. Just interview specific preparation is good enough.
Okay, so lastly, before we end this, would you have any advices or suggestions that you would like to give your juniors or people who are currently enrolled in universities and wanting to try to get an international offer like you have? So, what are the different resources that they can use, or what is like a roadmap for their college years that they can follow so that they are well prepared before applying to an application like this? And also, like, how can they be more aware about when there are such openings that they can apply to? Any such suggestions or advices?
to be aware about, as I said, have, be connected to some seniors. Unknown people on LinkedIn also works. Talk to them. If they are at a place where you want to be, do ask them like what is it that helped them and so on. Like just strike a conversation. And an advice that I'll give is that do not stick to any one company. Like there is a concept of target company and all, dream company, but a lot of good companies are there. So do not restrict yourself to certain companies like Fang. Um, apply to a lot of companies, and obviously a lot of times you'll fail and all, but be consistent. It might take time, but when you learn from your failures and correct yourself, ultimately you'll be able to get an offer, and you might get multiple offers when you are, you have prepared so much and corrected yourself after multiple failures. You'll obviously be able to crack a lot of interviews. So just be consistent, apply to a lot of companies, and enjoy the journey. Like otherwise it will really be a torture. It does take time, matlab it doesn't happen overnight. So enjoy the journey and keep improving yourself. Like I know a lot of people consistently or dedicatedly start in the fourth year itself, and they also do really well because one thing is CP, which a lot of people are doing over the years from maybe first year, second year. That is not really a mandatory thing to do. So people can do a really good interview preparation in fourth year itself and crack a lot of good companies. So don't fret about being late and so on or comparing yourself to your peers. Just focus on yourself and keep working on your skills. That is the only thing that will help.
Okay, so those were some great points and advices, and I really do hope that they can help some juniors if they are confused or if they are unaware about how to approach things. And we'd just like to thank you for joining us today and taking time out for this short interview. And I hope that this definitely helps a lot of people in their journey. And yeah, some last points if you want to share.
First of all, obviously, thanks for inviting me. It was great, sharing what I know. And I think if someone is really feeling lost in their journey and all, just know that it happens with all of us, and talk to the people that might help you who have been there, and try to carve a path out for yourself. Like don't try to copy anyone, because there is no really single path and all. Just focus on yourself, and like it happens, and it happens, like everything does end up good at the end. That is what I'll say. Yeah.
Okay, so that was it for this video. Thank you so much for joining us. And if you have any questions, any doubts, you can comment them down below. If you want to personally reach out, you can. And I guess that would be it for this video. Thanks for watching.